Beneath Hawaii's golden horizons, where aloha once promised warmth, the homeless gather beneath forgotten tarps, their nights shattered by the relentless crash of waves that no longer care. This island paradise, the pride of America, hides a wound far deeper with lives cast adrift, not from will, but from a nation's chilling disregard for the vulnerable. It is the pain of forced eviction beneath swaying palms, the sorrow of children charting constellations from sidewalks instead of bedrooms. In this reflection of neglect, we witness the homeless in America unseen and unaided, pressing the question, when will our leaders replace glossy images with genuine compassion? Come with me as we uncover the scars, the echoes, and the fragile sparks of hope that struggle to endure. Hawaii's homeless crisis behind the numbers. Stories of struggle. Hawaii's 2024 point-in-time count exposes a disturbing escalation in homelessness, with 389 people impacted, marking a 2.6% rise from the previous year. These figures go beyond raw data. They embody fractured lives and families with futures hanging in limbo. With 80.5 homeless per 10,000 residents, Hawaii's rate stands at more than triple the national average, uncovering a crisis beneath the island's serene image. This continued growth reflects deep-rooted structural problems that have been overlooked for years. In 2022, homelessness was already a pressing issue, with 5,973 individuals worsened by the lingering effects of the pandemic. The jump in 2023, fueled partly by the Lahaina wildfires, forced thousands into homelessness overnight. While Oahu, particularly Honolulu, recorded the sharpest rise, Hawaii County experienced a remarkable 28% decrease through federal housing vouchers and focused local initiatives. Initial indications for 2025 imply the upward movement could persist, posing an enduring problem. Oahu carries the greatest weight, with 4,194 people, 70% of the state's homeless population, living unsheltered. Neighborhoods like Iwile and Waianae Coast now host expanding tent encampments where people face harsh weather and frequent sweeps by authorities, draining their will to rebuild. Yet Hawaii County's achievements offer optimism, proving that strategic coordination of resources can yield tangible progress. In terms of demographics, Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders make up 28% of the homeless population, underscoring lasting effects of colonization and gentrification. Most 70% are single adults aged 25 to 54, and nearly 600 are children under 17 growing up amid instability. Health challenges intensify the crisis, with many living with disabilities, increasing their financial and medical hardships. Amid these daunting realities, veterans in Hawaii County have benefited from a 24% decline in homelessness, thanks to specialized assistance. Hawaii's homeless are far more than statistics. They're individuals, each carrying a unique journey and hardship. Tackling this crisis takes more than numbers. It calls for decisive action and empathy to stop it from escalating. As one outreach worker said, "We're not merely counting numbers. We're witnessing hearts still longing for home." Faces behind the map. Stories of sweeps and second chances in Hawaii. The real story of homelessness in Hawaii isn't captured through official tallies. It unfolds in the raw, relentless fight for space and self-worth. The island's varied landscapes aren't emblems of endurance. they've simply become grounds for routine evictions. This grim truth is intensified by a system that persistently favors the tourism industry over the welfare of its residents. Such displacement traps people in a relentless loop of uncertainty, where looming sweeps, forced clearings destroy any fragile progress towards stability. Consider Auntie Moki, a 51-year-old woman living in the Amala encampment on Maui. Her words bear the gravity of decades on the streets, describing the endless rhythm of being pushed out. Her greatest concern isn't her own safety, but for the frail or disabled who can't move quickly when law enforcement arrives.
I can't even help myself. We don't help them. But we do need help.
They care more about outsiders than their own, she says firmly, insisting that the effort poured into tourists should be redirected to uplift locals. Her basic necessities, a safe place to rest, water, and toilets, remain unresolved.
My mainly concern is laying my head down to sleep, water, and bathrooms. That's it.
Even as she proposes practical solutions like converting abandoned homes or warehouses into real housing.
Didn't go too bad, but this time we're all getting kicked out. There's no place to go. I don't know what the mayor is doing or whatever, but they need to come up with some kind of solution to put us somewhere, because this is not happening.
Sandy's story highlights another struggle, showing the iron grip of addiction and the system's lack of mercy. Sandy, once homeless as a young adult after fleeing her home, offers a blunt caution about substance abuse.
Probably like 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
When I was real young.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I ran away from home, started doing drugs, getting caught up in the mix.
It led to a devastating injury where the muscle in her leg deteriorated, nearly costing her the limb.
Just be safe and be careful, because I almost died like 3 times with it. My leg had to be half cut off because I fell asleep on my leg and the muscle died. I've had so many turn downs because of my past record. I need to get a job. I really want somebody to give me that second chance.
Now seeking stability, she faces constant rejections because of her past record hitting barriers with every job application. While accustomed to cash work before she now resorts to panhandling to survive admitting it, brings shame from her relatives. In these human moments, demographic statistics about age and ethnicity fade, exposing the deeper issues of systemic obstacles and addiction's toll. For the sick and disabled, the threat isn't abstract. It's a critical matter of survival during police operations. The job hunt reflects shattered aspirations where past mistakes shadow someone for life. Still, Sandy's pursuit of redemption through faith, along with Auntie Moki's persistent push for basic sensible changes, speaks not of surrender, but resilience. These individuals aren't passive sufferers. They're working to reclaim dignity from the remnants. But their lived experiences expose the systems that prey on the vulnerable and keep dragging them down. The fentanyl shadow of poison in Paradise's veins. Before unpacking Hawaii's homelessness crisis, there's a specter looming over it all, intensifying every wound: fentanyl. This lethal substance is sweeping across the islands like an unseen toxic tide. By 2024, opioid fatalities spiked 50% compared to 2 years prior, taking nearly 300 lives annually, with Oahu as the central point. Within the homeless population, fentanyl's hold is brutal. 40% of the unhoused face substance use issues, And fentanyl, cheaper and far stronger than most street narcotics, is transforming encampments into deadly zones. Native Hawaiians are suffering the greatest impact already, overrepresented with their communities situated beside busy harbors where this toxin pours in from the mainland. Picture this: a dark violet mist seeping over the island, coiling around places like Iwile, where overdose incidents surge as if some hidden quake struck. For many users, the drug isn't about pleasure, but a desperate escape from crushing reality's grief, eviction, and relentless hardship. Inside the Behavioral Health Crisis Center, frontline workers are locked in a relentless uphill fight. One physician explains, "We counter roughly 200 overdoses a month with Narcan, but fentanyl's strength means a single misstep can be fatal." It doesn't merely end lives, it chains people to addiction, making stability and shelter feel unattainable. The disparity is stark. Tourists lounge with Mai Tais beneath the sun, oblivious to the suffering unfolding just blocks away. Their volunteers distribute test kits, their faces worn with fatigue, struggling to preserve life amid tent-lined streets. The toll is immense. A grieving mother, eyes hollow, clutches a picture of the father fentanyl stole from her. These aren't exaggerated tales, they're everyday tragedies. This drug is deeply interlaced with cycles of displacement. People like Sandy fighting for redemption, or Native elders blending traditional care with harm reduction. Fentanyl isn't merely a menace. It intensifies the crisis, preying on the most fragile, locking them into a relentless loop. It stands as a national public health crisis intertwined with homelessness, demanding attention we can't afford to delay. As we step back from this grim reality, one question echoes. If paradise shelters such venom, what powers let it flourish here? The truth lies in deeper roots we're compelled to expose. The perfect storm roots of an enduring tempest. As fentanyl's hold deepens across Hawaii, we shift focus to the core forces fueling this catastrophe. A potent blend of economic, social, and environmental pressures that conjure a tempest as relentless as the Pacific itself. At the center stands a housing emergency born from a fragile, uneven economy. With typical rents exceeding $3,000, monthly households spend over half their pay on shelter, demolishing the basic measure of affordability. This unyielding rent surge shatters aspirations as costs skyrocket, beyond wages transforming once attainable homes into fading recollections. Hawaii's thriving tourism industry fills government coffers, but much of that profit flows to faraway investors, leaving behind the island's workforce housekeepers, cooks, tour guides priced out of the paradise they sustain. What begins as a subtle economic tilt quickly escalates into a deluge. Evictions scattering possessions like autumn leaves, foreclosures silencing laughter in lively kitchens, and lives fraying one strand at a time. Beneath the financial numbers, social fractures weave an even tighter net. The 2024 point-in-time studies highlight familial conflicts as a leading trigger for homelessness, sparked by survival's relentless pressure, inherited wounds, or the ceaseless crush of unpaid bills. Close behind is the sheer obstacle of unaffordability, exposing how torn safety nets leave countless families just one missed payment away from the streets. Layered above are health challenges, disabilities, and silent mental battles that ensnare many, while substance struggles now intensified by fentanyl's whisper trap individuals in cycles of isolation and anguish. These elements intertwine like tangled vines where a single jolt, a lost job, harsh quarrel and untreated pain can pull an entire family into the abyss. Nature, ever uncompromising, strikes its own devastating blow. The Lahaina infernos of 2023 obliterated over 2,000 houses in a brutal blaze, thrusting more than 5,000 into uncertainty and swelling the ranks of those unhoused. For Native Hawaiians, the destruction reached beyond property. It severed sacred ties to the Aina, the land that anchors identity and memory, reopening wounds stretching from the fall of the monarchy to modern gentrification. Together, these forces of exploitation, division, vulnerability, and disaster combine into a perfect storm, driving Hawaii's homelessness into a lasting tempest. This is not a narrative of individual failings, but of structures that elevate profit above compassion. As we unearth these roots, one question echoes, like distant thunder. Why keep spending fortunes on bailing water when we could reinforce the levees? A sociologist, reflecting on the island's troubled legacy, notes, colonialism stole sovereignty. Today's markets steal security. Fentanyl only accelerates the descent. Her reflection connects historical thefts with future struggles, reminding us this suffering is no accident, but the result of intentional systems. The solution requires more than quick fixes. It demands vision rooted in justice and compassion. Only by addressing these foundations can we calm the storm and navigate towards steadier shores. From ashes to dawn, threads of renewal. Within the storm of homelessness, the ongoing initiatives to reverse the tide shine as fragile yet potent rays of hope, woven together through intention and perseverance. At the forefront stands the Housing First program led by Governor Josh Green. This approach views housing not as something earned, but as a basic human right, the solid base upon which lives can be rebuilt. By late 2025, the establishment of 25 Kohali villages, small, culturally grounded tiny homes, is projected to yield 1,400 to 1,700 permanent units, reshaping tent settlements into vibrant communities where dignity and aloha flourish. Backed by the Homelessness and Housing Fund, these developments have already shown measurable success, with grants fueling nonprofits and driving swift progress in places like Hawaii County, where homelessness has dropped 28%, underscoring their impact. Yet housing by itself won't suffice. These programs form part of a broader person-centered strategy that heals both body and soul. The Behavioral Health Crisis Center in Iwile, open since 2024, has already supported more than 100 individuals, delivering essential care to those confronting fentanyl addiction or mental health struggles. With 27 supportive housing units nearing completion, the facility offers a critical lifeline to people in urgent need. Federal housing vouchers have proven equally crucial, helping over 2,300 people secure stable homes, including 65 veterans finally receiving the long overdue assistance they deserve. Financially, 2025 introduced Hawaii's most substantial tax relief plan to date, giving low-income families room to breathe and better access to housing and recovery programs. These actions may not be seismic shifts, but they are intentional strides, each one challenging entrenched norms and paving a path toward change. Watching Kauhala communities rise, hammers echoing volunteers planting indigenous greenery, there's a tangible surge of forward motion. Testimonies from those who've rebuilt their lives highlight the strength of these initiatives. One man reflects, "Fentanyl took my spark, but this home returned it." Despite lingering hurdles like Oahu's climbing homelessness numbers and Maui's slower rebound, these coordinated efforts demonstrate that unified action and community resolve truly matter. In the broader fight against homeless in America, Hawaii's strategy provides a roadmap, proving that compassion policy and local innovation can tackle entrenched challenges. It stands as evidence that real progress can bloom even when adversity looms large. A personal reckoning echoes from a lifetime's watch. Having journeyed throughout America from the frozen plains of the Midwest to the sun-drenched South, I see Hawaii's struggle as a mirror of long familiar sorrows, a painful continuation of a story steeped in neglect. There's something profoundly sobering in watching aloha, once a symbol of kindness and warmth, morph into estrangement. The island's remote and distinct throw national shortcomings into sharp relief, amplifying them into deeply personal heartaches. During my travels, I've sipped coffee alongside the unhoused, from Boston's frosty avenues to Seattle's damp corners. Every individual embodies resilience, yet their stories repeat a single refrain. A system that reduces humanity to checkboxes, abandoning the most vulnerable at society's edge. Hawaii's physical distance from the mainland only intensifies these scars. Fentanyl's rise, that synthetic phantom, represents more than a narcotics crisis. It reveals a broader disconnect where profit trumps people, leaving communities unequipped for the fallout. Reflecting on history, I hear echoes of the 1980s crack era, which tore through urban centers like today's opioids ravage rural America. Both stem from unkept promises and opportunities denied. Hawaii's native Hawaiian population, disproportionately impacted, brings to mind the unhealed wounds of manifest destiny, a reminder that genuine progress means restoration, not just repair. Still amid the pain, sparks of hope flicker, builders of Kauhali villages shaping communities, or a veteran's quiet nod embodying shared belonging. These moments reaffirm my belief that history's cycles aren't inevitable. Empathy, determination, and unity can break them. The true standard of a society is measured not by wealth, but by how it tends to its most fragile, a principle that, if embraced, could redeem us all. Toward a more perfect aloha, a call to anchor. Hawaii's path from hardship to renewal mirrors our country's capacity for transformation if we act with intent. The 6 to 389 individuals living without shelter alongside countless others urge us to shift from empathy to genuine unity. Engagement can begin by visiting Homelessness, hawaii.gov, and spreading these narratives to strengthen the call for change. Let's shape an aloha that embraces everyone, turning Paradise's ideals into enduring sanctuaries. The first light of a new chapter awaits us. Will we step forward to claim it? What actions can we as a collective take to guarantee every person a place to belong? Share your perspective below.